it can be very, very covert and intelligent. And sometimes the ones that do the most damage are the ones that aren't identified as racists, but hold positions of power, of authority, or have significant positions within institutions, public institutions.
No, I'm not worried at all. I rely on God, Allah.
You know, you feel like I gotta be on the defensive. You have to be on the defensive, and it's there, and it's so pervasive. You talk to some of the muhajibat, you talk to some sisters who wear hijab, and ask them, how many times have you been asked, "Oh wow, you speak very good English. How come you speak such good English?" I can't tell you how many times a sister in hijab is like, really? You're surprised? You're surprised that somebody wearing hijab can speak English. It's like, have you just emerged from a time capsule that was sealed in 1978? Like, you're surprised that somebody can speak English besides your prototype. I remember another incident to show you how it can be very, very covert and intelligent. And sometimes the ones that do the most damage are the ones that aren't identified as racists, but hold positions of power, of authority, or have significant positions within institutions, public institutions. So, for example, there is a professional that I know, a health professional that I know, that told me that he shared a flight once, and so he's white. So this guy that I know, he's white, and so he shared a flight with a judge from Little Rock, Arkansas, and he's he's white as well. And so this judge was flying up to Canada. So they were both sharing this flight back up to Canada. And he's going to come hunt in Canada, and so he was a little bit tipsy. He had drunk a little bit, and so he was very loose-lipped in terms of the types of information that he was revealing. And he told him, he said, the cases that I preside over, anytime I see a black person in my courtroom, I give him the third degree. I give him every single I give him the full punishment to the fullest extent of the law. Now, he can never be accused of being racist, because what's happening? Hey, I'm just following the law. Listen to me, man. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not racist. Are you telling me following the law is racist? I remember another time meeting with a university administrator in the medical department, the health sciences department. And I was conveying to him a concern that one of the brothers had, who had an interview for medicine, saying that he felt uncomfortable shaking hands with women because we aren't casually allowed to touch women in a specific health setting. When there's a requirement, then there's a need for that. But he was concerned, so I was bringing this to his attention. I said, can we maybe give some training and instruction to the interviewers so that they're aware of this concept, so they don't hold it against this particular individual. And he made a huge deal about it. He made a huge deal about that. He was saying that how can you expect to be able to practice medicine in this culture by doing this, okay? By not shaking hands with people of the opposite gender. But the question arises, by compelling somebody to shake hands with somebody, you're essentially saying that they have a right to touch your body. That's what you're saying. You're saying that person, I don't have a right over who touches my body, but that person has a right to touch my body. And what's interesting enough to show you that this is tribalism, this is racism, because that same university administrator who gave such a hard time and really didn't accept this idea that we should be be in control of who touches us, had a daughter who accepted Judaism. So they're white, okay? To be clear, who accepted Judaism, and she said part of her religion was that she could not take part in dissecting cadavers in the anatomy lab. And this is a very important component of learning human anatomy. And so she was able to recuse herself from that, and he supported her in that. And there was no problem with that, even though that could possibly compromise patient care. But not shaking hands casually with someone in an interview would compromise patient care. Man, if they just took the Islamic principles, if they took the Islamic values in the rights that we have over one another, you wouldn't have the Me Too movement. There would be no need for the Me Too movement. It would be, it wouldn't need to exist. And so what happens is many of these people, they apply those laws or they apply the rules differentially. They apply it differentially. And that's a lot of the covert racism that many of us face in North America. And they say, we were only following the rules. We were only following the policy. We were only following the laws. Look, this is the policy. And they point to the policy. It's easier to point to the policy than saying, hey, listen, I just don't want to see you or your kind have it easy.
Do I feel that the New York police are providing enough protection, or do I have to have protection of my own? I look for protection from Allah.